Hello, y'all. So I obviously I'm not there today, but that does not mean that class stops. We're still going to get our work done. And we do have a busy day today. So we have our part two test, and then you have an analysis assignment that you have to complete on part two. That's going to be a little new because your class was behind, so you did not do the assignment for um, part one. So I'm going to explain how to do it. I'm going to give you a few extra directions. But outside of that, it's going to be on you to get your work done, okay? But before the test, I want to just quickly review the questions that we left off on. You were supposed to finish doing this yourself, but because I am not there, I am going to briefly just talk about what happened. So when we left off, we were reading about Helios, and Odysseus ended up stopping on this island, even though he wasn't supposed to, and even though he knows he's not supposed to mess with the cattle. He had to stop because Zeus brought a bunch of storms and they couldn't continue to travel. Um, he told his shipmates not to eat the cattle. He told them that if they did, bad things would happen. But because the storms lasted for over a month, they were hungry and they were starving. And so Odysseus goes to pray and ask for help from the gods. But instead of helping him, they put him to sleep. So his men were without a leader. And Euryculus steps up and he gives a speech. And he basically tells the men that to die by starvation is the worst type of death. And so, why should they starve to death when there's food? There are cows right there and they can have meat. So he says, let's just eat the food so that we would avoid this horrible death and just take whatever consequences come to us. Now, he does say that in order to sort of apologize to Helios for eating his cattle, that they would build a temple in Helios's honor when they get back to Ithaca. Um, and the gods really like for people to worship them. So typically, that type of appeasement would work, but it doesn't work for them this time. Um, and so Helios's daughter, Lampetia, tells him that these men have eaten his cattle, and Helios is upset, and he threatens um, to basically take the sun down to the underworld, take the sun down to the land of the dead, and shine it down there instead of shining it on earth. Um, and so Zeus is like, Helios, I will take care of it. You know, there's no need for you to act like that. There's no reason for you to take the sun away. He says that he will punish Odysseus's men. And so he does punish his men. He sends a lightning bolt or thunderbolt, however you want to, whatever word you want to use. He sends it to their boat and destroys their ship. So all of Odysseus's men end up drowning in the Mediterranean Sea. But Odysseus is able to survive. Again, he's our hero. And because he was asleep, he didn't actually eat the cattle, right? So I guess we could say maybe the gods were trying to actually help him by putting him to sleep, right? So he's the only one who survives the destruction of the ship, and he's basically floating on a piece of a raft. And then, because he's already had to choose between Scylla and Charybdis, and he chose Scylla the first time, this time, because he is our hero and he has to go through every test, he goes to Charybdis. And we know that Charybdis is a whirlpool. So when he gets to Charybdis, he hangs on to a branch that's above Charybdis. His raft goes down into the whirlpool, and Odysseus just has to hang there for hours until Charybdis um, vomits up his raft. Okay, and then he's able to sail on his raft, and he gets to Ogygia Isle. So now we've come full circle and we've come back around to where we started reading when he was with Calypso. All right. So we know that epics are told in medias res. So we sort of started in the middle of the story with Calypso. And then Odysseus takes us back to the beginning and tells us everything that he's gone through since he left Troy. And now we're back to the middle again. Okay? So we will, when I return, we will go back over the timeline and finish putting all of our remaining events on the timeline. And you'll start memorizing and learning that timeline because it will be on your part 3 test that you will have next week or after we come back from fall break, maybe. But I'm going to pause this, and you are going to take your test. And then after the test is over with, I'm going to go over the directions for the after test assignment. And you'll get started on that. All right. So your test, again, you're going to have about 25 to 30 minutes for that test. And then we'll call time. So be mindful of that. You do not have all day to complete the test. All right. So I'm going to pause it here. You take your test, and then we'll come back together. Okay. So you should be in Canvas at this point, and you will go to the assignment that says October the 2nd. And the handout is at the bottom, so you'll just click on that, and it should take you to Cami so that you can complete the handout. This is about part 2. And so what this worksheet does, it's divided part 2 into the 3 main sections. So you have the land of the dead here. Let's see if it'll do this. You have the land of the dead. You have Scylla and Charybdis, and you have the cattle of the sun god. And so what I'm asking you to do for each one is to, first of all, summarize the section of the story. And you're going to summarize it into your own words, okay? So again, don't copy from the book. You are going to put it in your own words, and you will use at least 3 to 5 sentences. Okay, so you need to tell me what happens in each of these sections, and you need to tell me the beginning, the middle, and the end in order to have a complete summary. After that, you're going to choose a word to describe Odysseus in that particular section. So the words that you use may be different depending on what he did or how he acted in each section. Remember that you have the red paper in your folder, and that red paper has a list of character traits. It's front and back. So you should not be stuck on picking a word to describe Odysseus because you have a lot of words that you can choose from. Now, as always, you can use any word that you want. You don't have to pick one off that red paper, but if you can't think of anything, then that's where you should go. All right, the third, and you're only going to put one character trait. So you're only going to pick one word per section to describe Odysseus, not anybody else, only Odysseus. The third column asks about Odysseus's actions and motivations. So in each section, what specific thing did he do? Like, did he fight? Did he cry? Did he counsel or console? So what did he do, and then why did he do it? Did he do it to save someone? Did he do it to save himself? So you have to figure out what did he do and why. And I don't need a long, drawn-out paragraph. You're just basically going to tell me an action, 1 or 2 words. What did he do? Why did he do it? And then finally, the last box, you know that we have to always go back to our text in order to support what we're saying. So you have to go in the book and you have to find a quote. You have to find a line from the section that will support whatever word that you chose about Odysseus. All right. So it's the same thing that we have done before for the Most Dangerous Game, but it just is in a different format. It's a different type of worksheet, but it's the same thing. You're giving me a word to describe the character, and you're picking a quote. All right? And you do have to complete all 3 sections. Now, this is probably going to become homework for you, and it is due before class on Thursday, or sorry, before class on Friday. So it is very important that you are paying attention and doing this work, because this will go on the report card that you're about to get. So you don't want to get another 0. Okay, and I will send out a reminder Wednesday night to remind you to get this turned in before 8:30 on Thursday. All right. If you have any questions, then you can email me. I probably will not be able to answer the email until later today or tomorrow, but I will try to get to it if you email me. All right. You all have a good day. Make sure you get your work done because we all need good grades in this Power School grade book before Wednesday. All right. Thank you.